Hi, I'm Andrea and I'm your Pilates instructor here at Grow. Before I start, I'd just like you to check with your healthcare practitioner that they're happy for you to start some Pilates moves. These are going to be beginners Pilates moves, which I'll take you through. I'm going to take you through a warm-up first, which is going to set you up perfectly for going into some of our beginners sessions. At the end of those sessions, you're going to feel invigorated. You're going to feel taller and stronger. And I know that you're going to be keen to come back and try some more of those beginners sessions that we've got lined up for you. After those sessions, when you feel confident, you may even want to move on to the intermediate level. I'm going to introduce you to breathing first, which is really good and really important within Pilates, and we'll incorporate that into our warm-up. So let's get going. I'm now going to introduce you to some warm-up moves for the Pilates classes, and at the end of this you will feel ready to move into one of those beginners sessions. We're going to talk about breathing first of all. It is important with Pilates, and as you go through different classes it will become much more natural, I promise. Some people do get a little bit worried to start with, but it really will become much more natural. Okay, so we breathe in through the nose, taking the air down to the bottom of the lungs, expanding the rib cage to the front and to the sides. And as we breathe out, you breathe out through pursed lips. And that just helps you engage your deepest core muscle, which is your transverse abdominis muscle. Big scary word, but we call it a TVA for short. Now, there are 4 layers of your abdominals, and that transverse abdominis muscle attaches at the front and at your spine. So it's a really good supporting corset for everything within, from our spine through our abdominals and everything there. So really, really good to breathe in and engage that transverse abdominis muscle, and then exhale through those pursed lips, feeling that contraction and a little lift up on the pelvic floor. So if you didn't know already, your core muscles, as we describe them, are like a box. And at the top you have your diaphragm, and at the bottom you have your pelvic floor. And that's why we also really work on our pelvic floor within Pilates as well. So you want to have a little contraction of that pelvic floor. I'm going to take you down, and we're going to incorporate some of the breathing into an imprint and release of the lumbar spine. So if you need a little block, you can have a block behind your head. I do. So you start with your spine neutral, which means you've got a lovely S shape in your spine. So you're going to inhale with your spine in neutral through the nose. Expand the rib cage. As you exhale, imprint your lumbar spine, and then come back. Inhale through the nose into the bottom of the lungs. Exhale, use your obliques to rock your pelvis back. We'll do that for a couple more times. So in through the nose, and exhale, imprint your lumbar spine. Okay, so we're just mobilizing our lumbar spine. So one more time. Inhale and exhale, rock it back just to get that spine moving. Lovely. I'm going to move on to something called hip release. I'm just going to move this way a little so you can see my legs. So this is just to warm up our hip sockets here. So as you inhale, let that left knee drop out to the side and straighten that leg away from you. And then you're going to drag it back in. Okay. Inhale, take the left away. Exhale, draw it back in. We're going to do 2 more on this side. You're keeping your hips nice and level, so you're having to use your abdominals here to do that, okay? Inhale, take that leg away. Exhale, take the leg in. Keep that right knee pointing up towards the ceiling the whole time, okay? Right, let's go on to the internal rotation. Now you're going to rotate your left knee in, pushing the foot away. Open out that hip and back up to the start position. Inhale the leg away and exhale. Draw that leg back up. 2 more on this leg. Inhale. I like to put my hands on my hips here because it helps me make sure I'm keeping them nice and flat and level. And you're having to use your tummy muscles to do that. So we're working our core here. Switching over legs. Drop the right knee out. Push the foot away. And then draw it back in. Inhale, that leg away. Exhale, draw it back in. 2 more before we rotate that leg in. So exhale, back in. 1 more. Inhaling, taking that nice air down to the bottom of the lungs. Right, let's rotate this knee in. Rotate the knee in. Open out that hip joint. You're taking your hip joint through its full range of motion. It's something we don't do very often, and it's really useful to do this. Inhale the leg away. Exhale, back up. And then 1 more. That's it, just mobilizing those hip joints nicely. I'm going to move on to something called hip rolls. So I've taken that block from behind my head. My legs are like train tracks. My spine is neutral. I'm going to roll up through my spine here, okay? So I take a breath in to prepare. As I breathe out, I'm going to rock through my imprint and lift up to a nice full bridge, okay? I'm going to lengthen my knees away, and then I'm going to massage my spine back down. Such a lovely feeling. I love this one. Okay, breathe in through the nose. As you breathe out, rock back through your pelvis. Squeeze your glutes and lift up to a bridge. Inhale, lengthen the knees away. Exhale, roll down through those vertebrae, massaging your spine. We'll go for a couple more. Inhaling, exhale, roll through. Try and feel that you're lifting one vertebrae at a time. And as you melt them down, you're placing one down at a time. It's a really good way to articulate through your spine. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, exhale, roll up and lift through. Okay. Inhale, lengthen those knees away from you. Exhale, rolling down, massaging those vertebrae through. Okay, lovely. We're going to move on onto your hands and knees. I've got some nice moves here. So onto your hands and knees, wrists are under shoulders, spine is in neutral, neck is aligned with your thoracic, knees are hip distance apart. Let's go for some protraction and retraction of those shoulder blades. As you inhale, feel like you're pushing the mat away. As you exhale, contract and retract those shoulder blades, okay? Inhale, push the mat away. Exhale, retract the shoulder blades. It's a really good thing to try and connect to those muscles that work your shoulder blades because they work separately to the rest of the spine. Inhale, pushing the mat away, and exhale, retracting those shoulder blades. It's a smaller movement than you might actually think. We're trying to avoid going into the cat stretch. Okay, so we're just looking at moving those shoulder blades. That's nice. Now we've mobilized those. We're just going to do something called spine release here. You're going to take your left hand, okay, and you're going to thread, it's like thread the needle. You're going to thread this through. You're going to bend that supporting arm, and you're going to look towards your fingers. And then you're going to come back and place the hand back down. So it's an inhale to prepare, and an exhale, rotate through, getting a lovely rotational stretch here. And inhale and exhale to return. Let's go for 2 more on this side. So rotate through. And then return. And then 1 more on this side. So rotate through, bending that supporting elbow, looking towards your fingers, feeling a really lovely stretch there. I'm just going to do it on the other side. So we've got 4 more to do. Lift the right hand, bend through, rotate. Ooh, it's a very nice feeling, this one. And then return. Okay, inhale, prepare, keeping that abdominals lifted, keeping the pelvic floor lifted, exhaling away. 2 more on this side. Inhale, exhale, rotate through, looking towards your fingers. Feeling that really nice rotational stretch through the spine. 1 more. Inhale, exhale, return. And we're going to finish with the cat stretch, which is another lovely stretch here, okay? So you're going to lift the middle of your spine up towards the ceiling. So inhale to prepare. Everything starts neutral. Exhale. Lift up towards the ceiling, flexing through the spine. Inhale, try and increase that flexion, which is lovely. Exhale, soften back through the spine, rippling back to neutral. Again, inhale, exhale, lift. Inhale, increase that stretch. Exhale, soften back through, opening out the glutes. Okay, couple more. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift. Squeezing the glutes, letting the head drop down. Inhale, exhale, soften back, coming back to neutral. We're going for one more. Inhale, exhale, lift, inhale, and exhale to soften back. We're going to sit you back into what's called a shell stretch now. Take the arms down, release the pressure in the spine, take a breath in as you breathe out. Bring yourself back up. So I've taken you through a warm-up now, the beginner's warm-up, and you'll be ready to move on to one of those beginner's sessions. You've mobilized your joints, you've mobilized your vertebrae and articulated through those vertebrae, and you should be ready now to move on. In today's class, I'm going to take you through some exercises which are really going to help you if you're a sedentary worker. If you sit at a desk for a long period of time, or you drive a lot, all those things that we end up having been doing for the last few years, it's going to be really helpful, and it's going to help you fight that 4 p.m. fatigue that we sometimes get as well. Okay, so you've been through your warm-up. I'm going to get you straight in. We're going to do something called ab prep to start with. And we're going to lie onto your back with your knees bent and your feet are flat onto the mat. Now, ab prep, you have your spine neutral and it stays neutral throughout. So you have a lovely S shape in your spine. Hopefully, that's what we're working towards. Okay, so I have a block behind my head, which I feel more comfortable with, and feel free to have that. As you inhale, you drop your chin down, so your eye gaze goes down from like the red traffic light to a green traffic light. As you exhale, you lift, you flex forward, and you let those arms float by your sides. You take a breath in here, flattening those abdominals, and as you exhale, you return back down, placing the head down. So we're going to repeat that, okay? So head nod as you breathe in. Exhale, sliding your rib cage towards your pelvis. My spine is still neutral. Inhale here, I'm looking towards my knees, and exhale down. We'll do some more of these. Inhale, head nod. Exhale, flex up and forward. Inhale to stay. Exhale, control it down. Okay, let's go for 3 more. Head nod. Flex up and forward, keeping that spine neutral, float those arms. Inhale there, flattening those abdominals. Exhale down. 2 more. Head nod. Flexing up and forward. Inhale to stay. We're also lifting up on our pelvic floor, just a gentle lift. Exhale down. 1 more. Sliding your chin down, which is lengthening the back of your neck. Breathing in. As you breathe out, you're looking towards your knees. As you breathe in, you stabilize here. And as you breathe out, you're coming down. Okay, we're going to move on to something called obliques, but you're going to keep your feet down for this one. As you progress, you will get into a point where you're going to be able to float those legs up. But let's start with the feet down, okay? I'm going to take my hands and help support my head. So just pushing my hands behind my head, sliding my thumbs down my neck, okay? So I'm going to lift my head and flex forward again. I'm going to inhale and then exhale to lift. I'm going to rotate this time. So I'm going to work my obliques. I'm trying to bring my shoulder towards my left knee. So that's my exhale. I'm going to inhale as I balance through the center. And then I'm going to exhale. I'm going to rotate to the opposite side. Again, inhale, come back through the center. Exhale, rotate, working those obliques. Inhale back through. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, taking that air to the bottom of the lungs. Exhale, rotate. And inhale. Exhale, rotate. Inhale back to center. Exhale, rotate. Shoulder leading towards the opposite knee. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, coming back to center. I'm going to do 2 more on each side. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, back to center. And again. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, back to center. I'm keeping my legs like train tracks the whole time. Exhale, rotate. I'm starting to feel this in my abdominals now. Again, and rotate. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, let your head come down. Okay, let's move to something called spine twist. I'm going to face you. Now, with spine twist, if you don't feel comfortable sat in this position, if you feel that tightness and it's uncomfortable in your lumbar spine, you can either sit with your legs crossed, which helps you sit more up on your sit bones, or you can have a big pillow or a block. So a block helps to lift the hips up. So if you have tight hamstrings, and you know that, especially if you're sitting down for long periods of time, you get tight hamstrings. So I'm going to sit on this block here. Okay, so spine twist. We lift the arms, and I try and imagine I'm hugging one of those big gym balls, we like to sit on, and that's a really good thing to sit on, especially if you're working at a desk a lot of the time. You're hugging that big ball. You're drawing your shoulders down. Okay, so you inhale through the nose and imagine somebody's lifting the crown of your head towards the ceiling. As you exhale, you're going to rotate. So exhale, exhale, and it's little puffs. So it's exhale, exhale, exhale. Breathe in through the nose as you come back to center. Draw those shoulders down, zip up through those abdominals. And to the left. And inhale back to center. We're really making sure we keep our shoulders down the whole time. So exhale. The eye gaze stays nice and level, so you're looking straight in front of you. Always remember you're hugging that big ball. Your arms are within your peripheral vision. And I'll show you, we're going to not keep the arms moving. Our arms are only going as far as the rib cage rotates. Inhale back to center and exhale, rotate. Exhale. Inhale back to center. Try and switch off those hip flexors, especially if they've started gripping now, which they can do. If you need to, cross the legs to make it more comfortable. But let's go for a couple more. So exhale. Inhale back to center, keeping those shoulders down away from the ears, and rotate to the left. We're going to go for 1 more each side. So we're lifting up on the pelvic floor the whole time. Inhale, and we're avoiding pulsing. So the exhale just increases the range slightly. You don't pulse the movement, and then your inhale brings you back to center, and then rest those arms down. Brilliant. Okay, let's move on to hands and knees. We're going to go into some 4-point kneeling. So when we're sat at a desk for long periods of time, when we're driving, we're often protracting our shoulder blades a lot more than we really should be. So we're going to just work on retracting those shoulder blades here. So I'm going to start, my wrists are under my shoulders, my spine is nice and neutral, my knees are hip distance apart, and my knees are under my hips. We're going to go into that protraction and retraction again, just to do another set of these. So inhale, you're going to push the mat away, so your shoulder blades are actually sliding around the side of the rib cage. As you exhale, really try and focus on those muscles that draw those shoulder blades together. Inhale, we're trying to keep our neck in line with the thoracic, so I'm looking down at the mat. Exhale, retract those shoulder blades, so really switch on those muscles. Again, inhale, push the mat away, and exhale. This will feel really nice if you've just been sat with your arms in one position for a long period of time, just getting those shoulder blades moving. Retract them and protract them. You know, if you do know that you protract your shoulders a lot, really good to focus on the retraction here. Still lifting up on the pelvic floor and pulling that belly button back to spine. Okay, retract those shoulder blades. We'll go for 2 more. Inhale, push away, and exhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And 1 more. Lovely. And retract. We're going to do the thread the needle exercise. So we're staying in this position. And again, we're going to bring the arm through. I'm going to give you a little extra option here, which can add challenge and add balance. Okay, so we'll start with our regular move. So you're going to inhale, taking the arm out to the side. So I've got my left arm out to the side. As I exhale, I'm going to bend my right elbow and thread my arm through. I'm getting a really lovely rotational stretch. I'm going to inhale there, and then as I exhale, take my arm back to the side. Again, breathing in, lifting up on the pelvic floor, rotate, watching my arm go, bending that supporting elbow and bringing my ear down towards the mat. Breathe in and breathe out to return. If you want to add a little bit more challenge, and you know you're okay to do so, let's lift the right leg. So you're going to lift the right leg as you thread the needle. That's going to add a little bit more balance and challenge, okay? Squeezing that glute, lifting that leg. So inhale here, exhale. See who's going to fall over. Hopefully it won't be me. Inhale and exhale, bring the arm out to the side. We'll go for 1 more, okay? Inhale, exhale, bring it through. Trying to keep that leg nice and parallel up behind you. Inhale there and bring those hands back down. Bring that knee back in. We're going to switch sides. Okay, so we'll start with just the thread the needle to start with. Inhale, taking that arm out to the side. As you exhale, bend that supporting elbow, watching your hand go, rotating through. Inhale there, and then exhale, bring that arm back out. So you're keeping your neck in line with the thoracic in line there. Exhale, bend the elbow. Rotate through, looking at your hand go, taking a breath, feeling that lovely rotational stretch. Such a good one here. Okay, we're going to add in that little challenge now. If you want, you can lift your left leg out behind you, squeezing your glute. Let's just see who can maintain their balance as you rotate through. So inhale, there we go. We're coming back. As you exhale, bend the elbow. Rotate, taking that arm through. A little bit of a challenge on the balance there. Bringing the neck back in line. We've got 1 more to go. Nice breath in, breathe out as you rotate through, squeezing that leg up behind you, maintaining that nice balance. Inhale and exhale, hands coming back. We're going to do a bit of a cat stretch here, just so that we can release off some pressure in the spine. So starting with your spine in neutral, we're going to go from 2 from the head first, and then 2 from the tailbone first, so slightly different here. Okay, so inhale to prepare. As you exhale, you're going to drop your head and start to try and feel working up through your spine, squeezing your glutes last. Taking a breath in there, and as you breathe out, open out the sit bones, and then ripple back through the spine, bringing the head back to position last. We'll go for another one from the head first. So inhale to prepare. Still lifting up on the pelvic floor. Exhale, drop the head. Lift through the shoulders, through the middle of the spine and your lumbar, and then squeeze those glutes together. Inhale, trying to increase that flexion. And as you exhale, open out those sit bones. Ripple back through your spine, bringing your neck back in line with the thoracic. We'll go for 2 from the tailbone first now. Inhale to prepare. Squeeze the glutes. Work up through the spine. Head coming down last this time. Inhale, try and increase that flexion. As you exhale, let your head come back. Soften back through the spine, opening out those sit bones. We've got 1 more here. Okay, so inhale to prepare. Exhale, squeeze your glutes. Ripple up through the spine, lifting the middle of your spine up towards the ceiling.
Take a breath in, try and increase that flexion. And then as you exhale, open out those sit bones and soften back through. Lovely. When we've been doing that little bit of work, we're just going to sit back onto your heels here and do a shell stretch, okay? Just keep the abdominals engaged. Keep lifting up on the pelvic floor. Take a breath in through the nose. And as you breathe out, use your abdominals to help stack yourself back up one vertebrae at a time. Just releasing off that pressure that you've just been building up. I hope you enjoyed that part. We're going to go down onto your front now. Move that out of the way. And do a bit of prone work. Okay, so this is called breaststroke prep 1. Your arms they may be outside of the mat even, but what we want to do is trying to relax the shoulders. So you place your hands flat onto the floor and you rest your forearms down. You pull your abdominals back, and we are just going to be trying to work those muscles at the upper part of your spine, so your upper thoracic. Because we spend a lot of time protracting, we're just going to try and work those muscles into a little bit of extension. So tuck the chin down, engage the abdominals, pulling them back off of the floor. As you breathe in, shall I say, lift your chest slightly. Keep the bottom rib in contact with the mat. Relax the glutes. Exhale, engage the abdominals to pull you back down again. Inhale, make it those back muscles doing all of the work, not the arms. My arms are light and floppy on the floor. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lift. Trying to switch off those glutes. Try and make sure those legs relax. Exhale, back down again. That's it. Inhale, lift. Don't let the eye gaze go too far forward. We want to avoid extending our neck. We just want to try and extend the thoracic spine. Exhale, contract, drawing yourself back down again. We'll go for 2 more. Inhale, lift. Switching off the glutes. I have to remind myself every time, switch off those glutes. Exhale, draw those abdominals back down. We'll go for 1 more. Inhale, working those muscles. Connect with those muscles in the upper part of your spine. Draw your shoulder blades towards the back of the rib cage. And then exhale, control it back down. Okay, we'll sit back again into a shell stretch. You've just been working your spine in extension, so we just want to flex it to release the pressure. Take the arms by the side. In through the nose, and again as you exhale, coming out, we're going to stack our vertebrae up and draw our shoulders back and down. We're going to stay in this on our fronts here, so we're going to do something called swimming prep. So again, into 4-point kneeling, wrists are under shoulders, knees are under hips. A little bit of a challenge on the balance here, okay? So you're going to inhale to prepare. As you exhale, take your right arm and your left leg and lengthen them away. You're keeping looking down towards the mat, so we've got our spine nice and neutral. Inhale, try and lengthen and touch the wall with your fingertips and your toes. Exhale, controlling it back down again. We're going to repeat with the opposite arm and the opposite leg. Inhale to prepare. Keep the abdominals engaged. Squeeze, try and bring that leg up as parallel with the floor as you can. And the hard thing, especially if you've been working at a computer for a long time, is to lift that arm. Really work those muscles behind the shoulders. Inhale to lengthen, exhale down. Let's go for a couple more. Inhale to prepare, exhale, lift your right arm and your left leg, squeezing, lifting that shoulder as high as you can. Inhale to lengthen, trying to touch the wall. Exhale, controlling it back down. And again, on the left arm and the right leg. Try and avoid rotating so that the hips stay nice and level. Okay, lengthen through the body, still lifting up on the pelvic floor, and exhale down. We'll go for 2 more on each side. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift, lengthening. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, and exhale, control it down again. Obviously, if you wanted to make this more challenging, you could hold for longer just to challenge your balance, okay? We're going to go for the left arm and the right leg. And lengthen through, and then exhale down. And one more on each side. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift and lengthen. Squeeze the glutes, lift that arm up to shoulder height. Inhale and exhale down. And one more. Inhale, exhale, lift and lengthen. Inhale to stay and stabilize. Excellent. And exhale down. Okay, again, quick sit back into a shell stretch. Take the arms down by the sides. Flex the spine. Breathe in through the nose, and as you breathe out, stacking yourself back up. Let's go onto our sides and do some side leg work, okay? We're going to start with a side bend. This is a really nice one. We'll start with it on your knees, okay? So pop your wrist in line with your knees and have your chest nice and square. And we're going to lift up and sweep the arm over. Okay, here we go. So as you breathe in, lift the arm, sweep the arm up and over, lifting your hips towards the ceiling so you're getting a really nice lateral stretch there. As you exhale, bring your hips directly down to the mat. Okay, we're going to go for 4 more on this side. Inhale, taking that arm up and over. As you exhale, lower those hips back down. We're trying to keep our chest square the whole time, okay? Inhale, lift that arm up and over, like you're painting the rainbow here, okay? Exhale, lower back down. We're going to go for 2 more on this side, okay? As you lift, imagine you're between 2 panes of glass. So you're getting that nice straight line. We're trying not to have the hips dipping back. You're really trying to push those hips forward and exhale down. We've got 1 more to go. Inhale, sweep the arm up and over. Exhale, lower those hips straight down. Whilst we're on this side, we'll do some of the side leg work and change around in a minute. Okay, we're going to do some clams. You can lay down onto your side and support your head with your hands. So there's a couple of options with clams. I'm going to do it with my feet down. Okay, if you wanted to add a bit more challenge, you could raise the feet, but the feet do stay touching, okay? So position-wise, hips are stacked on top of each other. Your waist belt is lifted. As you can see, if I sink myself towards the mat, I'm bunching up on this side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep contracting those obliques to make them work at the same time. Okay, so we're going to go for 12 of these. So inhale to prepare and exhale. Just open the knees apart, keeping the feet together. So that's 1, 2, 3. You'll start to feel it in those glutes. It's a lovely one for the glutes. 4, 5, 6. Great. 7. Keep that waist lifted. 8, 9, 10. Hips are pointing forward. 11 and 12. Lovely. And what we'll do here, because this is something you might not do very often, we'll do a bit of a quad stretch as well. So just taking your foot, that top foot into your hand, you're going to hold on to it. As long as you're not putting too much pressure through the knee and it's comfortable, you can push your hips slightly forward and feel that stretch down the front of your thighs, okay? Have a nice quad stretch there. Lovely. Let's go and do that side bend on the other side. So we're going to change around here. Okay, wrist in line with your knees again. Chest nice and square, and we're going to lift up. Okay, so inhale, take that arm over, lifting those hips up towards the ceiling. Again, as you exhale, bring your hip directly down to the mat. Okay, inhale, lifting, bring the hips forward. Imagine you're between 2 panes of glass. Exhale, nice and controlled. 3 more on this side. Inhale, lift, sweeping your arm up and over. Exhale, and down. And 1 more on this side. Inhale, lift. Paint the rainbow above your head and exhale down. Okay, so down to those clams. And the other thing, if you wanted to make it more challenging, you could rest onto your elbow. But I'm going to come down here and support my head with my hands, okay? Feet are down, hips are stacked, waist is lifted, pelvic floor engaged. Let's go for 12 of these clams. And 2. So imagine you've got headlights on your hips and they're pointing forward. We want to make sure that they hit that wall all the time so we don't roll backwards and hit the ceiling. Okay, there we go, 6. Let's go for 6 more. 6 and 5. Keep that waist engaged. 4 and 3 and 2. Good. And 1, feeling it in those glutes. Okay, let's have that quad stretch again. So just taking hold of your foot, having this nice straight line down the front of the body. As long as you're not feeling it in the knee, you can gently push your hip forward and get a nice stretch down the front of the thigh. That's a really nice quad stretch, that one. Okay, I'm going to come and do something called spine stretch forward, which again is a really nice one to stretch the hamstrings. If you feel uncomfortable sat in this position and you've got a pillow or a big block, pop that block underneath you. But the legs are straight if you can. You start with your spine neutral. Eye gaze straight in front of you, taking a breath in. As you breathe out, drop your chin and let those hands creep forward. You're really going to feel that down the backs of the legs. Inhale there, and then stack yourself back up. Inhale, exhale forward. We'll just speed it up a little bit. We'll inhale to sit ourselves back up now. And again, exhale, flex forward. Lovely stretch, this one. Draw back in, making sure you bring those shoulders back and down. And exhale. Forward. One more, sitting yourself back up. Okay, we're also going to do a nice chest stretch as well, just to open up that chest. Okay, I'm sitting cross-legged. You can kneel if you don't feel comfortable sitting cross-legged, but I'm going to bring my arms and float them forward like you're offering that tray of biscuits we're all looking forward to. And then sweep those arms wide, just opening up the chest and bringing them back together again. Good, and then sweep them wide. Nice chest stretch. And back together again. And we'll go for 3 more. Inhale as you take your arms wide. That's giving you all that room in your rib cage and your lungs to take that oxygen in. Keeping those shoulders down away from the ears. And 1 more. Excellent. Lovely. So I hope today you've enjoyed the session and you've been able to find some moves that are going to help you stay flexible, stay mobile, and increase your strength.